What's up, guys? Ryan Cheney, ELR in Nice, France. I came out here to shoot King of 1 Mile and King of 2 Mile. I brought both my rifles, my 33XC and my 416 stroker, and Delta lost my 416. But I had a tracking device in the case. And let me tell you the story about what happened, because it gets a little wild. Tomorrow I'm leaving and I have no idea what's going to happen at the airport. Because when I go back through there, they may be like, "It's you." I don't know. Here's how it goes down. So I've got Apple AirTags in all my stuff, in the ammo case, in the suitcase, my wife's purse, everything, the rifles. We're in Atlanta. We had a 6-hour layover. Flew from Wichita to Atlanta to Nice, had a 6-hour layover. And we're getting on the plane and I'm seeing that my 416 is still on Terminal 2. We're on Terminal 5. And I'm like, this thing ain't gonna make it on the plane. And I'm looking and looking, I'm watching out the windows. They're loading the last bit of luggage and we head out and there it is. It's still sitting in number 2. So I'm like, shit, we're gonna get to Nice and my rifle is still gonna be in Atlanta. And that's the case. So we get to Nice, we get the baggage claim, I grab my 33, we grab our luggage, and I go down to the baggage office, talk to the lady. The lady was super nice. Super nice. I gave her the baggage tag. She looks it up. She says, yeah. She's like, you're right. It's in Atlanta. We have record of it. It'll be on tomorrow's flight. It'll be here around noon. And we'll send a courier to come and bring it to you. Write down the address of where you're staying. So I wrote down the address of where we're staying in Cannes. And I thought, we came a couple days early so we could get over the jet lag, and we were going to go down to see the Cannes Film Festival, like see all the freaking pretentious people and stuff down there. Of course, we're not going to get in. I'm not famous, but we could go walk around, and it was kind of fun. So we did that, but I stayed close, so that in case that the courier called, I could get my rifle. Well, it got to be later in the day, and get to the point where we're actually leaving the next morning to drive up to Bargemont, because I had to be to the military base at 10 a.m. for the briefing, for weigh-in, where you weigh the rifles, all the stuff. You go and go to sight in everything and get everything done. And we had to leave early, right? We had to hit the road. So we were leaving at like 8 o'clock. Well, it got to be, I guess the first time I called the airport, it was about 2 o'clock. And I talked to a French guy there. He wasn't nearly as nice as the lady that I talked to there. The guy was kind of a dick. And he said, basically, you have to wait. You're going to have to wait. And I said, okay, well, we'll wait, so we stayed close. And then it got to be around 4 o'clock, and I called again. And I said, look, we're leaving at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And I said, is it going to be here today? He said, I don't know. I said, will it be here tomorrow? I don't know. I said, where is my rifle? I said, it's a rifle. I said, it's not just luggage, it's a rifle. There's a rifle in there. I'm competing. Where is it? He says, well, the courier has it. I said, well, give me the phone number to the courier. I can't do that. And he hangs up on me. And I'm like, all right. Well, I got an AirTag in there. And I told the guy, too, on the phone. I said, I know where it's at. I said, I'll go get it, so you can't do that. And I was like, you don't know me, man. You don't know this fucking pissed off American, okay? So I called Delta and talked to a lady in Atlanta. The lady in Atlanta says, if you know where it's at, go get it. So I told Brooke, I said, get your shoes on, baby. We're going to go get this damn thing. And so it was at a warehouse across the street from the Nice airport. And we get down there. It took about a 30-minute drive from Cannes. We get down there. And we get to this area, this compound, basically, where there were some warehouses. And there was like concertina wire around the fencing. And there was a lift gate where you'd have to drive through. So I went up there to pull the little ticket where you pay for parking or whatever, and that's fine. I would have paid for parking for 5 minutes. I don't care, but it wouldn't even let me it wouldn't give me a ticket. So I hit the call button, and I talked to a guy, and I told him what the situation was, and he said, well, you have to have a reservation. I said, I'm not parking here. I said, I got to go in, get some luggage, and I'm leaving. I said, I'm picking up some lost luggage, and I said, I'm not parking. I said, 5 minutes. I'm in and out. Okay, give me a minute. And he comes back and he says, okay. He's like, I'll raise the gate for you. Come back through 5 minutes. I said, great, perfect. I'll be right back. Okay, so gate opens up. We drive in. Brooke's getting excited. She's like, oh, we're going to get these motherfuckers. And so we drive around, we pull in, we find a place to park. I'm looking at my phone, I'm tracking it, you know, we're walking up to where it's at. I'm just following the AirTag. There's this warehouse, and at the end of the warehouse, there's an open garage door, and there's like a big transit van. 3 fighting age Middle Eastern males with an entire garage, like with like 60 or 80 pieces of luggage in there. And I look in there and look and kind of look, and there it was at the very back of the room. There was my Pelican case. And I walked up and I saw it, and I said, that tan case right there is mine. I've been tracking it all day, and I'm taking it with me. And I said, here's my bag tag number, and here's my ID, and my name's on it. And the guy grabs, he said, this case? And I said, that's the case. And he says, is there a rifle in here? And I said, yes, there is, and it's mine, and I'm leaving with it. And he starts walking towards me, and I show the other guy that as it's getting closer to my phone, it's showing that it's getting closer to my phone. It's counting down the feet in distance. And he hands it to me, and I grab it, and I walk out of there, and Brooke is just going nuts. She's just like, she's so stoked, and I'm just like, let's get the fuck out of here. And I'm rolling that heavy fucker through the parking lot, and we get about halfway back to the car, and I realize that all of my luggage locks are gone. Like all of my like all 4 TSA locks are gone. They've been removed. So I set it down in the parking lot, pop it open right there, and there's nothing missing. Everything was there because I had 2 in-game bags in there that were empty. I had my bipod mat in there. Everything was exactly the way I left it. It had a TSA inspection tag in there, but everything was there. But my green tag had been removed. I have a silicone name tag that has my name, address, phone number, all that crap that you have to put on your luggage. Gone. It was gone. And after talking to some people at the match, they said they were probably going to steal your shit. They already knew what was in there. They'd already been in there. It probably would have sat in that warehouse for a couple of days. If nobody came looking for it, it would disappear. And, well, somebody came looking for it. And I got it back. We got to the match. I found some more luggage locks. We're going to lock it up, and hopefully we can get back to America tomorrow without any more incidences. But I guess by the time that this video goes up, I'll be back home because I won't be editing it while I'm here. But anyway, I wanted to share my experience flying to France this time. It was a lot wilder than last time, but the moral of the story is put a tracking device in everything when you fly. Everything. AirTags are so cheap. If you have an Apple device, I'm not sure if they have something for Android that's similar, but put a tracking device in everything that you've got, because those baggage handlers don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about nothing. I had a 6-hour layover in Atlanta, 6 freaking hours, and that case didn't make it on the plane. What in the fuck were you guys doing for 6 hours? What were you doing? The fuck were you doing? It only had to go like, I don't know, what, half mile? It's a big airport. Yeah, sure. We'll call it a half mile. 6 hours. Come on, step it up a notch, motherfuckers. All right, anyway, hope you guys learned something from this story. Get some AirTags, get some trackers, some GPS, whatever it takes whenever you travel, especially when you've got high dollar shit. I love this place though, Nice. It's wild. We got a hell of a place this time, and got a hell of a view. And actually, it was really, really inexpensive. So, if you guys ever want to come to France, this place is pretty cool. Appreciate the support, guys. If you need anything, reach out. You know where to find me. Be sure, share, like, subscribe, follow, all the things. And if you need one of my bags, RyanCheneyELR.com. Love you all. Peace. Alright, y'all, I'm back home. Just wanted to do a quick update. And I hate this lighting. Alright guys, I made it back home. Just wanted to throw a quick update on the travels from France back home. And I lost 3 more locks. Talked to some guys at TSA and Customs and Border Patrol when I was at the Atlanta airport, and they basically told me that you don't have to use the TSA locks. There's kind of a misnomer that you do, but you don't. You can use regular master locks because honestly those TSA locks are pieces of shit. You can cut them off with a pair of side cutters. So they said get some regular master locks on there and you'll just have to open them up when TSA inspects. You lock them down and it's good to go. Those guys were saying, the guys at the Atlanta airport were saying the same thing that I said when I was in Nice, that the baggage handlers are shady people and you never know who you're gonna get, and they can get into people's shit and do. So lock your stuff down with good stuff. Put trackers in there, tracking device, AirTags, whatever, and get some good locks. I do like combination locks because if you lose the keys, kind of screwed. Don't lose the keys, but it happens. And we made it home. I opened everything up. Everything was solid except for my 416 barreled action had actually come out of the foam and was laying on top of the foam, and I have no idea how, but it didn't hurt the trigger, thank goodness. Trigger was fine, and that's about it. Getting ready to do some more experiments with the 338 because I'm not 100% satisfied with how it's shooting, and I am going to go back to the 375 ShyTac because I do believe that the 416 is running out of barrel life. So I'm going to revisit the ShyTac that I had built last year. I've got some cutting edge 275 grain lasers coming for the 33XC, and I've got some 400s coming for the ShyTac, and I'm just going to kind of take a little bit of a different direction for the rest of this season. So see how that plays out. I've got some more content coming as I have more time this summer, and so stay tuned and be sure and subscribe for all the updates and stuff. I'm going to be giving out some pretty good information for free because I like to help. I like to see you guys succeed as well, so be sure and do that and send this to your friends so they can subscribe as well and learn something. So anywho, that's it. Catch y'all later.